If working out was fun, simple, and easy, what would that look like? I'm about to show you exactly what. And it's this. First of all, you can take a screenshot of that. That is just this little program that we're about to dive right into. But before we do that, I gotta tell you guys a quick story. Okay, so when I started working out, I started in high school weightlifting class, and I had a football coach who taught me everything. He was like, you gotta go through the grind. You gotta work really hard. And we did all these really challenging, complicated exercises. And he would always push me like crazy to the point where it was really painful and it wasn't that much fun. As I kind of got into it on my own, that was all I knew, was all that pain, that painful stuff, the no pain, no gain mentality. So I went online and I found a workout called Thor's Thunder God routine. And it was pretty intense too. It was tons of sets. I was always just kind of aching in pain. That served me for a little bit. I was also young, so I kind of was able to do that. But I ended up really getting a bad injury on my shoulder. And I got knocked out of the gym for a couple months. And at this point, I was realizing man, this was just not gonna be sustainable for me. I was starting to lose my love for the gym. It was just too much. I wasn't really fitting with my busy work schedule anymore. Also, that training style wasn't really working for a lot of my clients at the time too, because it was hard for them to stick to just because there was so much to it, right? So when I was knocked out of the gym for that couple months, I actually, thank God, I found my mentor. His name is Chris Beardsley, and he is a world-class exercise physiologist who is just a master in the science behind muscle growth. And I studied under him. First when I found him, I just dove into everything that he talked about, his podcast, his research. I basically was totally enlightened because I learned that all that extra stuff I was doing, the no pain, no gain, to just chase the burns, that grind mentality, I realized that not only was it not necessary for me to build muscle and for me to stay fit, it was actually holding me back in a lot of ways. It was way overkill, which was crazy because I never thought about that. I thought that if I didn't work harder, I wasn't gonna make more progress. So totally I had this paradigm shift and I realized I could actually build muscle super efficiently. I could be really effective with my time and energy, and I can learn how to get really good bang for my buck. And I could just be very patient with my workouts, and by focusing on the right things, I could actually get more from less, right? So I realized that building muscle was not just about doing more, it was about getting more from what I do, right? So after that, I studied under Chris for an entire year. We did one-on-one Zoom calls every week, and it was awesome. He transferred all his expert knowledge to me. So now I know how muscle growth works, woohoo! And I'm about to pull back the curtain and share all of that secret sauce with you guys for free here on YouTube because I love being as helpful as I possibly can. I don't hold anything back, guys. All right, and this is what we're about to go over. Everything I learned, I put into this workout program. Okay, so you can screenshot this if you want. This is one of my 4-day splits. So this is just an upper lower split where I always recommend either upper lower or full body. If you're working out 3 days a week, full body 3 days a week is 100% the best way to go. If you're doing 4 days a week or 5 days a week, then you can start sprinkling in some upper lower days as well. Okay, I'm personally on the upper lower right now because I'm working out 5 days a week. I do sometimes upper, sometimes lower, sometimes full body. Today, let's go over some upper body, fellas. We're gonna start right out from the top, okay? And as we're going through these moves, I'm gonna be pulling back the curtain, sharing the secret sauce with you, explaining why we're doing what we're doing, and just teaching everything to you so that you can do this on your own and that you feel power and that you know all the best tips and tricks and best practices handed down from me to you so you can implement it on your own gym journey and ultimately just become the most muscular, confident version of yourself, right? So follow me, guys. We're gonna start with the Smith machine press. Let's go. You mind if I use the Smith machine? Okay, cool. I keep all my client archives in here for people that I do actual sessions with. Gotta stay prepped, fellas. So really, it's important. Before we jump into this, I gotta break something down for you guys, okay? So really, there's only a few moves that you would ever even do in the gym, okay? You could do pushes, okay? So when it comes to pushes, you can push here, you can push here, you can push here, and you can push here. Okay, just in those 4 pushes, You can target the chest, you can target the shoulders, and you can target the tricep. Okay, then you can do pulls. You can only do 4 pulls. Okay, you can pull here, you can pull here, okay, and you can pull here, and you can pull here. Okay, and just in those 4 pulls, targets every part of the back and the biceps, okay? Then you can do some leg moves. You can do like a leg extension, you can do a leg curl, you can do adduction, right? And you can do some kind of like squat or lunge, okay? And just in those leg moves, targets every part of the leg. Quad, the adductor, the hamstring, the glute. Okay, you can also do a hinge. I forgot that one, right? So there's really not that much stuff, guys. Like everything that you see in the gym, every single exercise that you see on Instagram, right? It doesn't matter if it's machines, free weights, group classes, it's all just different variations of those very simple foundational movements, okay? So there's not as much to it as you think. It seems complicated because there's a lot of stuff, but it's just those basic stuff, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a press, which was one of those first ones that I told you, and we're going for the Smith machine press, okay? So first thing when I'm ever starting on a machine, okay, especially if I'm doing it for the first time, first things first is you want to make sure that your form is immaculate, okay? So on something like a chest press, right, kind of like the form, right? If building muscle was like building a house, the form is like the foundation. Okay, so you got to make sure you have perfect form so that you're building on that sturdy foundation, and then doing those gritty reps and getting stronger, that's like building those bricks on top of that foundation. But if your form is dookie, that's like building a house on sand. Not good, right? So you need good form. Right, so when it comes to the Smith machine press, I'm gonna show you guys first things first, perfect technique, okay? So really, it's just important, anytime I'm doing a press, I just want this extension in my spine. So all that means is my spine. I don't want it just flat. I don't want to be hunched forward. I just want to be in this extended position. And then I want my elbows at just a slight angle down, okay? So I don't want my elbows like up here and I'm pressing. Oh, that would be weird, right? No, you want to keep those elbows at that angle, and then you want to stay in that extended position. Okay, so on the Smith machine, you got to make sure that the bar should be like right about at your sternum, right here. And look, you see how my elbows are at the right angle, or at the best angle, right? And I have that nice extended position. See that, guys? Nice and simple, right? If you want super simple, like for most of my clients, the Smith machine is like the alternate option. Just a normal machine, just like a chest press machine, is usually gonna be even better than the Smith. So you'll notice like on the program, the option number 1 was actually the machine chest press. This was the alternate option, was the Smith machine. The only reason that we're doing the Smith machine and not the machine is just because the machine is inside. We're already outside. We're a little closer to the Smith, so I figured might as well start there. But it targets the exact same muscles, right? They're very much just interchangeable, okay? But just know that, like if you want super simplicity, then the machine is even better. It's easier to set up. You don't have to worry about like getting a bench or anything. All right, so now that the foundation is set, now it's time to make those reps do that gritty, okay? What that means is we want to pick a heavy enough weight that we can get near failure between like the 5 and 10 rep range. I know what you're thinking, Jake, what? Everyone always said you got to be doing 12 reps if you want to build muscle. 5 reps is for the power lifters. That is complete cap, okay? So what I learned from Chris Beardsley when I was studying under him, my mentor, is that it was really just the last 5 reps before failure on a set that actually create muscle growth. Okay, so you know those last few reps where you're pushing your hardest, but it's kind of like a struggle and the weight is kind of going slow? That is the secret sauce for building muscle. Those are the only important reps, okay? So we want to pick a weight where we can just get to those reps earlier rather than later. Okay, why would I pick a light weight and like take forever to actually get to the important reps if I can just pick a little bit heavier weight and just get to the important, meaningful reps earlier? Does that make sense? Okay, so let's load this puppy up. I put on a heavy enough weight that it's gonna be pretty gritty, right? So that means I'm gonna be pushing my hardest with every single rep, but it's gonna be kind of going slow, okay? But the key is you don't wanna go so heavy that you can't keep good technique, right? Like I said, the technique is the foundation. Technique stays consistent. Time to go for that grittiness. See those gritty reps, guys? I picked a heavy enough weight that by the time I got to 5, I got all the way near failure, right? So that was about the most efficient set I could have possibly done. All of those reps created muscle growth, right? So it's not about like just chasing the pain and getting that crazy pump. This is about being very strategic, right? Being very intentional, getting those gritty reps, right? And then I can take a long rest, okay? But super, super important, guys, that, right, notice in this program, right? We're only doing 2 sets on each of these exercises. I know what you're thinking, Jake, what? Every program online has 3, 4, or 5 sets, not 2. Make it make sense. Those guys are like trying to build muscle. Like if building muscle was like cutting through a steak. Those guys are like using a butter knife. So imagine you were trying to cut through a steak with a butter knife, right? It's kind of a dull knife. So you gotta go super fast and you gotta do a bunch of cuts to make any kind of progress in cutting the steak, right? That's like doing high rep, tons of sets, not taking a lot of rest in between, right? You can do a lot, but you're not gonna make that much progress because that knife is so dull, right? But when we just focus on the gritty rep, right? We're very patient, but we're really focused on being strong, slowly getting stronger over time. You can make more from less sets. So instead of like using a butter knife, it's like using a steak knife, right? We make a nice effective cut, and we take a long rest, we sharpen our knife, nice effective cut, long rest, sharpen the knife, and then repeat, right? So it's not about doing more, it's about getting more from what you do. And that's why we only have 2. And doing 2 is awesome because you get out of the gym a lot sooner. So it's more efficient with our, not only our energy, but also our time. So you'll notice in the program, we have like at least 1.5 to 2 minutes of rest between every set. So we got 1, we got the first set. What we did was we got right there, we got 140 for 5 reps. So you want to always track that. Okay, so I'm gonna keep track. Like I have my log book, right now I'm writing it in person. I also have it on my app. It might be easier to pull my app out. I'm gonna pull my app out and show you guys how I keep track of it on there. Right, but you want to always keep track of how much weight and how many reps you're doing. That way, when you do this exercise again, you can slowly one-up yourself. This time we went for 140 for 5. Now we're gonna go for 145 for 5. And then next session, when I do it again, I might go for 150, right, Sarah? So we went for 140. I got 5 reps. I had a little bit in the tank. So I think I could make it a tiny bit grittier, but still stay in that gritty rep range, okay? I'm gonna add a 5 on each side. I still think I'll be able to get at least 5. Okay, so when it comes to adding and subtracting weight, it's very objective. There's not a lot of subjectivity to it, right? That's the cool thing. When you're doing a simple, stable movement, and you're pushing your hardest with every rep, your body will know like either you can do at least 5 or you can't. So like if increasing the weight on this exercise meant that I couldn't do at least 5 reps, I wouldn't increase the weight. But I know like, okay, I had a tiny bit in the tank, I can make it a little heavier and still get at least 5. But we wanna make sure that we're training near failure, and we wanna keep in mind, understand, it's just those last 5 before failure that are actually meaningful and important for building muscle, right? So let's increase a tiny bit, 5 pounds on each side. I hope you guys are seeing the value in this saw. This is no cap. This is just straight sauce and value. Okay, I don't want to be right. I just want to build muscle. I've already made enough failures and messed up enough times in my gym journey to realize, dude, there's better ways. If you just keep doing like what you've always done, you're going to keep getting the same results that you've always got. You can't be intolerant. You have to be open to new ideas if you want to be able to go to that next level. And that's why we focus on the gritty reps. Just doing those meaningful last few reps before failure on a set. That's what building muscle is really all about, guys. It's not about going crazy, chasing the pain, no gain, getting your sweat on and just, no, it's not about that. It's just about being strategic and intentional with your workout, all right? It's gritty time. Time to do that gritty dance. Did it. I made it to 5. Thank gosh, that was close. Perfect example of a great muscle building set. It was simple, stable. I'm not screaming in pain right now, right? It was heavy, and I just went right for those last 5 reps before failure. Okay, if you're thinking like, man, like Jake, like, I don't know if I could do that because that looked pretty hard and it would look pretty heavy. Like it might take me some time to be able to do that. Like you could go, you don't have to go just for the 5. If you want, you can go a tiny bit lighter and you can go more for like 7 or 8. You're still gonna get those last 5 meaningful ones. Ideally, long-term, you wanna, if you're like me and you just like being as efficient as possible, then you like to just go as heavy as you can and just eke out the 5. That's maximum efficiency, right? I don't mind if you're like, instead of max efficiency, if you're just like efficient, I'm not gonna mind. But I just don't want you to be inefficient. I don't want you to be doing like sets of 12 and 15 and doing 3 or 4 or 5 sets, right? And doing like 6 or 7 or 8 exercises, just spending way more time in the gym than you need to be, right? We wanna do the simple, sustainable, just the effective stuff so that we can get into a routine that is gonna last you an entire lifetime and just help you get the best bang for your buck that you possibly can. Good stuff, fellas. We did exercise number 1, okay? I just realized as we were doing that exercise, I said on chest yesterday. So that's pretty much a bit of a no-no. You don't want to be doing the same muscle group 2 days back to back. I forgot that I did a set on chest yesterday before we did that. I just told on myself. So let's move on, guys. Let's move away from the chest. Let's go for the triceps. We're gonna skip around, okay? It's not a big deal. You can always jump around in the workout. So we're gonna go for the V-bar push down. All right, I want to show you guys something real quick though. So if you want a way to actually track it, this upper body workout that I have on just paper right here, I also keep it on my app. And I do this for my clients that I don't actually see in person so that they can still have a powerful tool that they can carry with them on their workouts to do all this stuff without me actually being there. So it kind of looks like this, right? So you see upper body, it's the same exact workout. You click start, right? It has all these same exercises. So you just click start. I just had a warm up there, but this is the first exercise. This is the machine chest press. Remember I told you we did the alternate, right? So we actually did the Smith machine, but I keep both the options on there, right? And then you can track it. So we did 140 for 5, and then we did 150 for 5. I'm gonna check it off. I'll also keep a rest timer on there, right? So it's pretty sweet, I'm not gonna lie. And then also, it keeps track of how much weight we're doing. So right here, right, it will just keep like data of as we're getting stronger over time. I don't have much data for this exercise, but yeah, that's how we know like, man, what did I do last time? Oh yeah, I did 150. And then you can like, you don't have to just remember it. It keeps all that data for us, okay? Also, like we can leave comments. So sometimes when my clients are doing the exercise, if they're like, have a question or they want to leave a comment, you can leave one right here, right? So there's lots of cool stuff and you can just swipe through and go through the workout that way. We're gonna go for the triceps now. So we're going for the tricep push down. Ooh, let's get it, fellas. Let's have some fun. This is a great exercise. All right, you guys sit tight. I'm gonna go set this exercise up and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back with the tricep push down now. This is one of my favorite exercises for the triceps, okay? A lot of people, what they'll do, if you're watching this at home, don't wanna go through the extra step of getting a bench, bringing it over here, right? It's okay, you don't need it. I'll show you what it will look like if I didn't have this bench here for the first set. And then I'll show you for the second set, my personal preference and why I like it, because it's also a good teaching moment and really represents well why, you know, kind of these training principles that we're talking about in this paradigm shift. Okay, but the first set, I'll show you guys, okay? This is how I would probably expect you to do it. I'll do it on here. You can see them side by side, right? So let's say you got just the tricep push down. I'm sure you've done this exercise before, all right? I'm gonna show you what I would not recommend. First, I'll show you what I would not recommend and how a lot of people do it. A lot of these meathead fitness influencers, this is what they're gonna try to put in your program. So be careful, right? They're gonna put on one of these ropes on there. Now the thing with the rope, right? You can do it lightweight with the rope, just fine. But when you start getting in that gritty rep territory and it's a little heavier, it's gonna start hurting your fingers a lot. Right, so let's say I put on like the 160 here, right? And remember, we want to go heavy because that's how we can get those gritty reps. And those gritty reps are the only ones that matter in the first place. There's no point in going light and just like going really like controlled like that. Like that is not going to help us do the efficient building muscle, right? We want to be efficient. We want to be getting those gritty reps. So this is why I would never use the rope, first of all. Like the only reason I can't push this down, it's not because my triceps are incapable. It's because it's hurting my fingers too much, right? So that's why sometimes just by selecting the wrong equipment, it could hold you back, right? So now I know I couldn't even do it with single rep there because it was hurting my fingers. But just when I put this bar on, it's more stable. Now I could do it. All right, so I just did the gritty reps. I got right near failure. I was able to do 6 that time. So believe it or not, like that set took what, like 10 seconds? That was a super good bang for my buck set. Okay, so now I got tricep push down. I'm gonna track it. I just did 160 for 6. Right, if you forget the form, good thing you got this video of this handsome fella walking you through the form, teaching you how to do it on camera, right? I got 300 of these videos, guys. I told you, I'm about this, right? So check that off. Now, I'm gonna show you guys my personal preference, how I do the tricep push down to just be a little bit more optimal, okay? So what you'll notice when you get in the gritty rep territory, right? You're gonna start feeling it in your core a little bit. So when I'm doing the standing variation, right? So that feeling in my core, all that is effort that's taking away from my ability to train the triceps. Okay? So it's a bit of a paradigm shift, but those extra feelings of pain and effort, those are just taking away from the effort that I want to be spending towards actually just training the muscle. Right? So when I do it on this chest support like this, what you're gonna notice is I'm not gonna feel in my core at all because it's even more stable. So now I'm just gonna feel it in my triceps. Wow, this is gritty. I don't feel my core at all, just my triceps. I don't feel in my hands either because I'm not using that big rope. That's 4. One more gritty one. Hurts so good. Okay, nice and gritty. My heart isn't really beating. Yep, no heartbeat. My muscles are not aching. Nope, I'm not in pain. Nope, feeling good. But I just accumulated high quality muscle building rep. And that's why I said at the beginning of the video, what if working out was simple, easy, and fun? It wasn't exhausting, tiring, and painful. Well, I'll tell you, training like this, where we're very patient with our workouts, we only have to do 2 sets. We're only gonna do 6 exercises. That's 12 total sets, 12 total sets. The entire workout takes 30 to 45 minutes. You gotta take a lot of rest in between. This is an entire paradigm shift, guys. It's not the no pain, no gain mentality. This is just high quality, efficient, effective muscle building. It's liberating and it's awesome, okay? So there are 4 more exercises. We're not gonna go over them all today because I do a lot of talking. I don't want to hold you guys for another 2 hours. So thank you guys. I hope you might have learned a thing or two that you can apply to your own gym journey. You know, if you think it would be helpful to actually work one-on-one with me to customize and personalize this process for you, for your goals, for your gym, right? And just for your routine and your lifestyle, just DM me the word optimize on Instagram. We can have a conversation and I can see how I can help you out and potentially even get you on this app that I created and have all these assets and videos for so that I can actually be your teammate on this journey and actually give you all the tools and support that you need to step into the identity of your true potential and help you become a muscular and competent person, because it is within you. Fitness is your birthright and you have so much freaking potential. I promise you that. You just got to give yourself the permission and have some courage to step into a new identity. And that's literally my life mission here on this earth, is to help people do that. So I want to empower you and invite you to be willing to take action despite any fear, despite any doubt or limitation that you might have in your head right now. And just go on Instagram, DM me the word optimize, and I'm gonna be here to serve you and help you step into a better version of you. So thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.